You never know what you'll do around a celebrity until you meet one. And yes, this for me counts as celebrities. Hey friend, Lexi here. I thought I'd take a video to do two of the things I do best. Character design in different styles, and telling a random story that somehow matches the theme. So this time, I get to design my avatar, the character that shows up in pretty much every video I make, in different recent and current Disney show styles. And I get to write about how I met a bunch of Disney TV animation showrunners, and basically made a fool of myself because I didn't know then what I know now. Sounds like fun to me. I was going to this Women in Animation meet and greet. Women in Animation is this amazing organization that strives for women to make up 50% of people working in animation. Right now, women are only 18% of employees in the story department and just 16% of animators. This meet and greet was really special because people from Disney TV animation were going to be there, in New York.
My time has come.
I thought that meant a few executives, some animators, maybe some hiring managers. What I didn't expect was to see a very recognizable red flannel jacket walk across the room. I didn't expect to see Alex Hirsch, creator of Gravity Falls, to be there. I would have made a beeline over to him to ask him advice. But the meet and greet was so crowded it was hard to make more than a few steps without having to squeeze past like two people. It was dark, crowded, and loud. As an introvert, this was my kryptonite. But I had to at least try.
Get him! Get him!
After seeing Alex zip across the room a few times, I managed to track him down in a corner of the room. I asked if I could talk to him. At first, he told me he was just here at this event to support his girlfriend. I didn't know at the time what that meant.
No!
Kind of wish I did. But he agreed to talk to me anyway. I tried to ask him a few questions, but he could barely hear me with all the noise in the room. He literally had to lean down to put his ear closer to my mouth so I can talk to him. I literally threw out all the questions in my head and summarized it down to, I want to be a showrunner in TV animation someday too. Do you have any advice? I had to basically yell that question like a crazy person for him to hear me. I was walking around that night with a 2-sheet description for my show idea Glitch Witch. When he was finally able to hear me, he told me, the most important thing is characters. Your characters make the story, not the other way around. He lit up explaining this to me, so I could tell this was his main philosophy when it comes to his work. Honestly, I couldn't agree with him more. I always make my stories character-driven, because I feel like it makes any plot better to be driven by interesting and believable characters. I thought it was a really good sign that Alex Hirsch agreed with that. Told me I'm on the right track, and that was a big relief. Now, while I was talking to Alex Hirsch, I noticed his girlfriend come to stay next to him. What I didn't know at the time was that was Dana Terrace, showrunner of The Owl House.
It's funny how dumb you are.
This was before the show was on the air, but I was already excited for the show. From what I saw of the trailer, it looked like it was right up my alley. It was full of magic and witches and demons and comedy. The Glitch Witch project I'm working on makes people think of The Owl House most of the time. I kind of wish I knew that was Dana that day, so I could have picked her brain too. But as soon as the two of them walked away, she was swarmed by fans. I think that was when I figured out who it was, and I didn't want to bother her. But hey, Alex Hirsch is also the voice of King on The Owl House, so I'd say I still talk to someone who is part of both shows. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, maybe subscribe to this channel. I'd love to have you here. Someone else I saw at the Women in Animation meet and greet was Matt Rowley, creator of Amphibia. I almost managed to meet him several times that day without any luck at all. My friend Sandra even saw I sat next to him on a couch at one point, and didn't even notice. I'd say I missed out, but a couple days later, I actually did get to meet him.
Oh, I know we'll meet again some sunny day.
It was at the New York City Comic-Con that weekend, and he and the other TV animation showrunners spoke at their own panel that day. After the panel, which was amazing, some of the showrunners stayed and talked to people and signed some autographs. Me and my friend Sandra joined that crowd because she wanted to get some autographs to add to the ones she got at the meet and greet earlier that week. Lo and behold, Matt Rowley was one of the people who was talking there, so I got my second chance to talk to him. What's funny is this was the middle of Comic-Con, but since I was last in line for him, and it was right after the panel, I didn't need to shout over to the crowd. I talked to him about the best way to get a job in animation, and that I want to be a character designer or a storyboarder. He was really nice and gave me some advice about asking for animation tests. I also had him sign my Amphibia shirt while I was there. He got excited about that. I think I was the only one to show up with the shirt from his show. After I met Rowley, I was ready to go, but Sandra really wanted signatures from 2 other guys. I wasn't all that interested at the time. I only saw 1 episode of their show, which is very funny now because that was Shane and Chris Houghton, creators of Big City Greens. Now, 2 years later, I love that show, and I want a do-over for this. Sandra borrowed my Sharpie marker so they can sign her shirt while I stood there kind of disinterested and unsure what to do with myself. Until I said, oh, I saw the Halloween episode. It was good. I had literally only seen half the episode, and it was that morning. Not only did I say that to the show's creators, I also said it to the voice of one of the show's main characters, Cricket. Now, I feel like I made Cricket Green disappointed, and I'm just going to have to live with that.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
I'm sorry, Cricket. I promise I love the show now. Honestly, I love all of the current and recent Disney TVA shows. I still to this day have Space Unicorn as my ringtone, just because Marco from Star Versus had that ringtone on the show. I might have to do a part 2 for this, just so I can draw Star Versus style. Although, my Manic Pixie Dream Girl video was slightly influenced by Star Versus style. Anyway, I'm so excited about the direction Disney TV animation is going these days, and I'm excited to see what happens next with these shows. That's all I have for today, but I love drawing more animation styles, so I'll make more of these soon. See you in the next one. Bye, guys.
Remember, reality is an illusion, the universe is a hologram. Bye, gold, bye!